With the development of sports as a business, the interaction between two different rationales, that of athletic performance and that of profit, has become increasingly complex, leading us to raise the question of the power of sports. One of major issues connected with professional sport is the use of performance-enhancing drugs, doping. Athletes today use various drugs to enhance their performance. There is a long list of prohibited drugs and methods being used, such as different stimulants, narcotics, anabolic agents, diuretics, human growth and other hormones, local anesthetics, beta blockers, blood doping, etc. Besides the fact of creating unequal competition, they present high health risks for the athletes, including death risks and extreme physical and psychological drug dependency. The drugs are extremely effective as well as difficult or impossible to detect, so the payoffs for success are high, and as more athletes use them, a clean athlete may become so non-competitive that he or she risks being cut from the team. Hello and welcome to Healthy Lifestyle. Joining us today is Ljubodrag Simonovic, a former athlete and also a philosopher and author. Today's topic is sport, professional sport from behind the scenes, and not the usual glamorous front that we are used to seeing in the media. Mr. Simonovic, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, because you called me to say something about the dark side of professional sport.
You were a professional basketball player who, at the peak of his career, decided to quit, largely due to the fact that a heavy drug abuse goes on in the sports arena. But we will come to that later. First, let me ask you, what does it take to be a professional athlete?
First, we won the first place in the world 1970 in Ljubljana. I was playing for the Yugoslav national basketball team. It was the first golden medal that we won. At that time we were not professional, we were amateur sport. We didn't get the money. I started to get the money when I started to play for Red Star after, and when I played in Germany. It was the way that I earned the money because I was working on my doctor degree, and it was no other way to get the money, so I was paying myself, so to say, playing basketball. But we were 1972, when I left Munich Olympic Games, we were in some semi-professional status actually. We were paid just to be able to survive with some stipendium, something like that. But we didn't have a regular repayment and we didn't have a professional contract. So in effect, as a player, I wasn't a real professional. But I had the professional obligations and I was practicing 3 times daily. I was one of the best players in Europe. And we had a big success in basketball. At that time, Yugoslav national team was the best in Europe and also in the world, so-called amateur basketball. But 1972, it was a big scandal with Puerto Rico. They were under the doping in the semi-final, and it was proved. I mean, because already at that time, it was a doping control. Dope was in use many years before the Olympic Games in Munich. And it was 1972. So you can imagine in today's time how it's going on with the doping. When 40 years ago it was dope on the scene. And it was proved that Puerto Rico it was under the dope. And we asked as players from the national team of Yugoslavia, we asked that the leadership of the Olympic Committee that they should apply the Olympic Charter also in this case. But they refused it. And our players were under the pressure from our leadership. They will be stopped to play more in the national basketball team and so on. And I refused to be manipulated. I said that I decided to go back if they don't use Olympic Charter, and I did it. I was 23 years old. I was already then played 7 times for a European national team. And that was the end of my career in the national team. And I didn't have support of any commission, international, or any of those people fighting against the dope, as they've been saying. So it was the example of hypocrisy, in effect. And several years after, my friend from the Soviet representation selection, Alexander Belov, he died from dope. He was 27 years old. Also, several of my friends, I knew them playing basketball in Europe, in America. They died also So many basketball players die from the dope, and in athletics much more. In this sport of fighting, of endurance and so on. This is according to Spiegel, their magazine Spiegel, till 1977, more than 1,000 bicycle drivers died only in Western Europe. And in Soviet Union and East Germany, it was also very large number of the people died from dope. So this is they all cover that because sport is the most important spiritual drug for the working people, in fact, and for those young people who have no job and so.
So if it's that widely spread, can a professional athlete survive without doping?
No, this is not possible more. The distraction, especially, is bad distraction with the girls, and the young people. This is the worst. What's happening today. Even the girls from 10, 11, for example, in England, many cases the girls from 11, 12. In America, more than 3.5 million sportsmen regularly use dope. This is incredible to which extent. For example, before several weeks ago, I read in the paper that the English athletiker start to speak about what's going on in sport, and he was using more than 300 different dopes, 300 different dopes in his career, and he was one of the top guy. I wrote also about this American. She died in 37 years. She was old, Flo Jo. She was a runner, and she died in 37. I think because of heart attack. She was using also fantastic amount of the dopes and so. So this dope industry is developing fantastic.
But the people who use it know what they're doing to their bodies. I'm asking you, how does it all start?
Yes, they know, but my friend, this is the same with people. They are smoking. They are conscious that their body is going to be destroyed because they are smoking. But this is some kind of psychological reflection to the life they live. And in sport, it's much worse because this is not the only way for the poor people to get a chance for affirmation, social affirmation. This is also the only chance to survive, because 99% of the top sporters are from the ghettos, from the black ghettos, of the ghettos from the poor, from Africa or from my country and other countries. And this is the worst. This is the social stratification is actually behind the scene of the professional sport.
You speak about psychological doping.
Yeah, I speak. This is very good that you said psychological doping, because this psychological doping is the basis for the doping of the body. First, you have to be fanatic, just to live from sport and believe that this is the only chance that you can do something in society. And this is unfortunately reality in many countries. So I'm saying that the coaches, they don't go to find the perspective guys where the rich people live. They go where the poor people live, because these young people, they offer their life and completely life. They are ready to die to get the money and to help to their families. I met a lot of young people from America, especially black guys. They were ready to die to give a chance to their family, to their brothers and sisters to go to school and so on. So it's they don't want to write about it, because sport must have always a humanistic picture. This is one of the biggest humanistic myth made in 20th century. The sport guy, and also he's representing the highest value of capitalist society. To kill, to win, and so on. Only in sport you have right to kill. Why nobody wants to write about that? Only in sport you have right to make the injuries, heavy injuries, for example, to destroy the children. No chance to stop that. In Western America, they speak about humanism. Why they don't regulate with the laws, that you cannot misuse kids in Germany? Why they don't stop? I was in Germany for years. No chance, The Greens started in West Germany this question in the Bundestag. They refused to talk about that.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, because training for professional athletes usually starts at very early age, and they're submitted to heavy training 3 times a day or more, teenagers or even kids. Are the parents aware of what's going on?
The parents, a lot of those people, they have parents not at all. In America, 25% of the kids, they don't have parents. So how you can call parents to be responsible for them? Second, a lot of those parents are very poor people when they have parents, and they see the chance for their children, that they earn some money, to be on their own, and also the question of dope. You don't use immediately when you are young big amounts of dope. This is a tablets, first just a little amount and more, like for a drug with marijuana and after cocaine. And so I don't use it, I don't know, but there is a process. And one day when you are grow up for some 16, 17, 18 years, you have no chance more. You didn't finish school, you didn't finish any kind of the job that you can live from that. And the only chance for you to make some kind of affirmation and to make sure existence, sure, if you make contract, this is a sport.
But people who are who are training these people and actually providing them these drugs, do they even know what substances?
They know exactly, they know. This is an industry. And this is not, my friend, just some kind of coaches and so on. This is a state regulated. For example, Italian Olympic Committee, American, German and so on. They are doing by state. You are obligated as a professional guy who wants to go to the Olympic Games. You are obligated by contract that you are going to use the dope. This is incredible to which extent this manipulation is going. And they don't want to write to them because these journalists, they're a part of this mafia leading a sport, And the most important for every country is to have a winners because of the policy. And also big firms, the capitalist firms, they are behind. They have fantastic money invested, Adidas, Coca-Cola, and so on and so on. And actually, if you invest the money, you want to see the results. This is advertising program. They are just running advertising dolls. And there is no mercy, You are investing this economical fight to survive in the world is bigger every day. And the sportists as running dolls, advertising dolls, they must pay, the price with their own life, in fact. So this is this system, ruling system is without any humanism and mercy. This is therefore nobody is today talking about pedagogical side, of the sport, because this is this is laughing today to talking about that. All is just to win, and to get the money. Everything is just based on that. The money doesn't stink.
Yes. So instead of the things that they are giving attention to, like the strength, physical strength and speed and rigor, what should we in sport focus on?
Not sport in sport, in the physical culture, this is a very big difference, because sport is based on the Hobbes maxima bellum omnium contra omnes, war of all against all. But the humanistic movement after the French bourgeois revolution, liberté, égalité, fraternité, it was the leading principle of the French Revolution. And of the basis of that, Rousseau, before the revolution, made his pedagogy based on principle homo homini homo. Man is a human being to man. And on the basis of that, the philanthropic movement was developed, Fiat, Pestalozzi, Gutzmuth, Jan, and so on, in Germany, from 1812 on Haselheide and so on. And from this movement, also this playing movement was developed with Delsart, Laban, and so on, Isidora Duncan, and so on. But this is, now it's all rejected, We have today only the commercial body activism is which can exist. And not pedagogical, Everything must make money. This is a totalitarian logic of capitalism. Everything, every place in the world, every human move, human relations, everything subordinated to the logic of the making of profit. And we cannot speak about the humanization of the parts, This is the same to speak about the leaf, how the leaf on the tree should be good, and the tree is falling down,
Okay, but we have to
So you have to fight to have the healthy tree, if you want to save the leaf. So this is exactly, you cannot make a pedagogy like an island of happiness, like Fink, for example, and other people, they wanted to do that. Huizinga, so, to making islands of happiness. This is illusion, You cannot make in a world of unhappiness parts where you can be happy. Because you are an unhappy man. So you have to create a happy society. Society of the happy people. So I'm against that to make partial things, that to make impression that we can make in our activism, now try to make better in some fields, But this is impossible.
Okay, so your way is of pointing out what is wrong with today's society, but what's your way of telling us where to go from here? How to
From
make
here
things...
is just a political fight. Always the answer is always very simple. just a political fight for the new society, because this is not only fight for the freedom, you know. This is a fight to survive. Because capitalism today is destroying the nature and the human body in sport. This is a direct nature for man, in fact. And the relation of the capital to the human body in sport. This is a picture of the relation of the capital to the nature, which is our unorganic body, in effect. So this is very good analogous that we can make between the nature and the human body. You know, this is therefore the critical sport is fantastic today. Is very rich. I mean, rich possibilities offer, because we can make the nature of the capitalist society in sport very good. To see that this is not only dehumanization; it's also the denaturalization of man. Denaturalization, you know, to make robots. This is the highest instrumentalization of a human being, to make from man a contemporary Frankensteins. You see, and this is a tendency. For example, nanotechnology and so on. First will be applied in sport. First will be applied in sport.
Mm-hmm. So, from all you've mentioned and what we discussed earlier about physical strength and rigorous body being important in sports, does that put a lot more pressure even on women who are...
But they are divorced. This manipulation of divorce is much worse than with the men. Because this virilization, you know, they are killing the identity of woman as a woman, transformed in a man's body, and man's body transformed in a robot. So this is double transformation, so to say, when the woman is in the question. And with this destruction of a woman's body, you still can move the records, you know, still in a women's sport. Because in men's sport, this is practically the limits. For example, maybe 1 second in the running on the 100 meter you can achieve more, and so. And after the masses will break. It's impossible. I mean, this logic is actually the logic of destroying a man, and also nature. So we have to make the logic of the development of man as a playing being, the aesthetical, cultural elements, you know. And this is especially when we speak about the kids. A complete new culture of the movement must be, the understanding of the body and so on. So this is for what we have to fight. Also, you know, to change the understanding of the human being, you know, and not to have the productivistic body, you know, Leistung philosophy, just to make faster, stronger, and so on. You know. But this is a distraction. Also, when we have the nature in our view, we must speak. We must have a rational relation to the nature, you know, not to destroy the nature. Not to exploit, to live together with nature and try to humanize the environment in which we live. And not to destroy everything and to make a man, you know, to make a towns, you know. This is a ghettos for the human beings. Like zoo for animals, you know. This is the same. This is the zoo, or this town in which we live. This is the zoo for human beings. This is not a human place. This is artificial, technical place.
Okay. We talked about a lot, but we're coming close to the ending of this first show, so let us be practical. What would you advise to youngsters who dream of becoming professional athletes?
I know that my words, they will not touch them, you know. Those who are already orientated in this way, you know, they are already fanatical, you know. They believe that they will earn big money, you know. They can see every day on the television, they speak only about the guys who earn the big money, you know. So this is the way how to make fanatical from them and their parents, you know. So they will not listen to me. And those people who are humanistic orientated, maybe my words will help them to create a better position, you know, to understand the world, that we cannot fight partially against one and another thing, you know, that we have to have a broader view about society and to think on the same way about the future, you know, so the future society is possible if you are fighting for this society. So this is my message.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us and sharing this message with us. Thank you for watching, and join us again next time when we will be discussing sport as recreation.